Uh, we're live.
We're live. What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And when I say we've got a hammer on tonight, I mean we have a hammer, Norman. And but guys, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
That's right, Colin, and I'm Normally, and we are looking forward to tonight's episode. But first, Colin, as always, we got some business to take care of. We got to talk a little bit about our sponsor for tonight's episode, Cornfield Fishing Gear, offering electronic mounting brackets you can trust, rock solid engineering, safe and secure, giving you a peace of mind, knowing you can focus more on fishing and less about the security of your investment, whether you're running single or dual units from the console or to the bow. They have the brackets that will suit your fishing style. Fully adjustable mounts made, produced, and manufactured in the USA. For more information on Cornfield Fishing Gear, contact us on our Deck Talk Podcast website at www.decktalkpodcast.com. Again, that is our Deck Talk Podcast website at decktalkpodcast.com. That's right, Colin. We have one heck of a show tonight lined up, but we got to introduce this cool cat and give him the proper introduction that he so well deserves. Our guest tonight is a Florida native that has a career stat sheet that looks like the Encyclopedia Britannica between Major League Fishing and the Bass Pro Tour and the Elite Series. He has a 12-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier and has 3 Red Crest appearances, including winning the Red Crest Championship in 2022 with 8 first place finishes, 111 top 10s, 172 top 20s, and in 2017, he conquered the MLF General Tire World Championship. He is one of only 3 anglers in the world ever to win the Red Crest Championship and a Bassmaster Classic title. The pride of Lakeland, Florida, Mr. Bobby Lane.
What's up,
What's
brother?
going
Hey
on, Bobby?
guys, how
Man,
What's
are you,
up?
man? That introduction was awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a humble bass fisherman. I'm actually jumping in the John boat with my son here.
yeah,
We're going to go out and do a little fishing on the pond, and I thought, what a great time to do a podcast, man.
Yeah, you
heck
know
yeah,
what?
man.
We're honored to be able to have you on tonight, Bobby. And as our viewers could see, we didn't have our intro come up tonight. You know, just to let our viewers know, we've been having some electrical storms here in the area and some pretty bad thunder boomers rolling through. So it kind of set us back a little bit, but we got up and going, and everything's good to go. Hopefully, from this point on.
Yeah,
So
hopefully it'll be all
hopefully
right.
we can do it without no glitches. So.
So, but yeah, but as you can see, Bobby's getting ready. He's gonna go out with his boy, and so he's gonna be out on the water. So no better time to talk to a fisherman while out on the water. Again, I mean, this just kind of shows, Norman, like what our podcast is named after, just being out on the deck, just chit chatting, and so uh, it's it's gonna be a great episode. It does look like I don't know if his signal's gonna be holding on to, but we're gonna. But Norman, as we're waiting on Bobby to come back on here, uh, man, we've had some pretty interesting weather, and I know
Oh
we're
man,
finally
yes.
starting here in the Chattanooga area, guys. We're finally starting to get those cold nights, and it should saying that he's trying to connect. So that water temp in the past month, Norman, I mean, it's dropped from the mid 90s down today. When I was out there, I seen 78 degrees water temp. So
Yeah.
them fish are setting up. They're still skinny, but
Yeah.
was able to catch a few today. And then it come come a downpour, but then I had to get off the water because my truck was getting oil change, tire rotation, and all the maintenance and stuff you got to get done on it. But
Yeah, I got to get an oil change pretty soon on mine. But yeah, you're right about that. And even for Tennessee standards, it's been a hot summer, man. And I'm just looking forward to when the temperature starts dropping a little bit, where I could actually put a couple layers on and go out and not have to worry about sweating. So there he
I hear,
is.
but
We got Bobby back in the house.
that's it. Speaking of sweating, though.
The service a little messed up.
Yeah. And so we're going to do our best, and so it may come and go, guys. But we're going to have Bobby out on here, and again, this is what the podcast was named after, especially being able to have somebody out on the boat. I mean, that's why we call it Deck Talk, being out on the deck of the boat, just chit chatting. So Bobby is showing us what the name of. He said, if your name Deck Talk podcast, we're going to be out on the boat.
Well, there's Bobby Jr. He's sitting in the front of the boat up here.
What's
What's
up,
going on,
brother?
Bobby Jr.?
Yeah, got his flip stick going, and I'm sitting here watching him for a minute. And
Well, I just want to know, does every kid that's a lame kid come out with a fishing rod?
they come out with a flipping stick.
Is
They
that
come out
what
with a
it
flipping
is?
stick, not just a fishing rod, a flipping stick.
Well,
I just want to see Junior put a 6-pounder on your lap here in a second.
yeah, that.
Well, we haven't caught one that big in a while. We've caught some 3s and 4s. The water temp's been running in the mid 90s down here in Florida, so the big ones aren't showing lately. But if we catch one, I'll show you guys for sure.
Now, what
There
pond
you
are
go.
you on? What pond are you on right now?
So it's a little private lake that I live on. It's
Okay.
got 20 something houses on it, and it's about 20, 30 acres. I don't know, but got a
Cool.
few. It's an old reclaimed phosphate pit, man. It's loaded with bass, and it's just something to do after a day when you want to come out and relax, jump in the John boat, and away you go, man. It's actually
There you
fun.
go. That's
Heck
awesome.
yeah. So I can still hear him.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah. So let's see. He's got full service. I don't know why it's the video.
You guys hear me? Oh,
We
can
can
you hear me?
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you. All right. Just keep rolling with it. We can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear you.
The video might
Just the
back up.
video. They just may not be able to see you until for a second. Oh, but guys, so kind of going back like what we were while. Let's see. Here he comes. There he is.
Something happened to the mic.
Uh-oh.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you. Yeah.
So,
Clearly hear you guys.
huh.
Let's see.
Everything looks good on my end, Norman, and on our end. Can you hear us, Bobby?
Swinging them. Oh, you stole your pinchers. I can't hear you guys unless I put it up to my ear, and that
okay.
ain't gonna work. I had you. Let
No.
me.
Do you have
I
earbuds
got
in?
my
Or?
volume all the way. Y'all were a minute ago.
Yeah. So, guys, while Bobby's working on that, we'll kind of go back. So, our water temp has.
Yeah. Let me.
Okay. So, our water temp has dropped. I mean, almost 20 degrees within the last month to a little over a month. And, Norman, them fish, they're starting to set up on that fall transition. And, I mean, this morning, I mean, I was seeing them set up, and it was nice, but they were not munching. It's been they've had water temps around 70. Well, I seen 78 today, Brenton. But we excuse me, but they. I don't know if I mean, what we caught fish on today was a Texas rig, the big stick, the Showtime. My buddy Josh caught one on it, or caught some on it, and then I was throwing. Let's see. Let's go. Norman, it may be on our end because it's not wanting to flip back and forth on me.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to try to. It's not allowing me to.
All right.
There it goes. Yeah, we're. I'm trying to get it to where.
He's trying to put you up on the screen. There we go.
There we go. Now we got you.
All right. We got it good now.
So,
Yeah. Look,
but hey, Bobby. So how did I know? Like, I mean, y'all's family, the Lane's family, and all that has a deep rooted in the fishing industry. So, what was it like growing up? And I mean, you're in one of the best places in the world to be able to go out and do some bass fishing. So, how was it like growing up in Florida and stuff like that, and being able to have that as an atmosphere to learn how to bass fish?
yeah, man, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, as a Lane growing up, honestly, it was a topwater plug, and we were on the water every single weekend with my dad or one of my grandfathers, speck fishing or bass fishing, and it was just a way of life for us. I mean, it's just like it was passed down, and that hasn't changed too much today. My brother's son's up there in that Toyota series. And Santee Cooper, he had 3 for 14 today. I think he's in like 50. Oh, there you are. It's just part of it, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain because, some people don't get to, am I froze?
No, you're good.
No, you're good. You're good now.
I'm froze.
You're good, Bobby.
Froze.
I don't think he could hear us.
He made that.
He might have a service issue on his end too.
Yeah, it looks like his signal's low.
No, guys, I'm good.
Huh.
Right.
Okay. Well, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It might be that hurricane, man. I've got full bars, but anyways, to get back on that, it's just a way of life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Everything? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, me and my son are out here today. We're fishing behind the house, and we just love it. There's nothing better than throwing the swamp lord up against seawalls like I was doing this morning while he was at school, or flipping some trees, or just enjoying the outdoors. I think that's the most part of it for all of us. And then when you do catch a couple of bass, it just makes it that much funner. And they don't have to all be big ones, man. Just
No.
the enjoyment of being in the outdoors, catching fish, whether it's a tournament or not, is just peace. It's really peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're preparing for a tournament and stuff like that, what is your mindset of going through with being from Florida? Are you looking more for the flipping bite and a topwater bite, or are you trying to see what's available and see what the fish is going to tell you? Like, this is how I'm going to have to fish to be able to make a check or anything or whatever in this tournament.
When I fish Florida, man, I honestly I keep it real simple. I got a popping frog on my deck. I got a flipping stick with 3 different weights on them, so 3 flipping sticks. I have some kind of 10-inch worm or any kind of lately I've been using the new Black and Blue General, and I have, I mix it up. I put spinner baits on and flipping sticks, swim jigs, stuff like that. Like I generally don't get out of control. I try to keep it simple, and it when you're in Florida, a lot of it looks the same, and it's realistically finding where the fish are. They eat a lot of different things, but you got to locate the fish, whether it's inside, outside. And I think the more time you spend down here, it just makes it a little bit easier to be able to do that. So,
Right, right.
I don't, the drop shots and the shaky heads and all that, they work down here. But man, those big ones, they love. Oh, I thought my son had a bite. They love that flipping stick. They love that frog. And there's nothing more exciting than hearing that braid zing through no matter
That's
what you catch them on.
oh man,
That's the deal for me.
yeah. There's no better sound than hearing that braid just zing. I mean, I would put it right. I mean, it's probably up a higher than hearing a baseball bat hitting a ball. To me, that's when you hear that
An
sound.
aluminum bat.
Yeah,
Right. So, but and that was going to be my next question. I mean, is there anything that's like punching some thick grass and then hearing that braid just zing and knowing that? I mean, you put well. I mean, anytime a lane puts a hook set on, it's going to be a monster hook set, and but just being able to reel in about 20 pounds of grass along with the fish, I mean, there ain't nothing like it, is it?
No, man. I mean, that's kind of, the beautiful thing about Florida is we do get to fish down here year round. We have 10, 12, 15-pound bass down here that get caught quite often. And you never know when you're going to get that one that just is the one, right? And hearing the braid zing in a tree or lily pad patch, a grass mat, or watching it blow up on a frog it's like, that's fishing to me. And I know, forward facing sonar's kind of taken the place of a lot of that here lately, but it hasn't for me. Oh my goodness, he's 0 for 3. I thought he was going to get that. But there's nothing better than listening to that braid just zing all over the
Yeah,
place with that big old fish on it or just a bass. The
yeah,
excitement of just drilling that hook in a big mat or a big grass patch, man. It's awesome. It really is, and it's what got me into fishing. And I probably made more money, I'd say, on the Fritz side when I won the Red Crest, but honestly, flipping, an epic weight with some Durabraid guys, I'm telling you, there's just nothing makes my day better, and I've made a lot of money in my career doing that.
yeah.
yeah.
So, what kind of like a setup is your flipping stick?
Really, dude, I try to keep them real simple, man. I'm a left-handed reel guy. I like these new reels, man. They're PRMs from Abu Garcia. We launched them at IS. They got all my reels have 20 pounds of drag. I kept left-handed, um, and for like light flipping, okay, like if it's pads or cattails or buggy whips, I like a 7.6 heavy Fantasista X. And when I get in those big thick mats or the thick hydrilla, thick Kissimmee grass, and I need a 1 to 1.5 up to a 2-ounce weight, like I flip in headwaters all the time, 711 Fantasista X extra heavy. So everything's Abu Garcia. Man, I keep my line real simple. 50-pound Durabraid anywhere I go, and even in that thick stuff, that 50-pound has never let me down. So that's my setup, man. Left-handed flipping sticks, 50-pound Durabraid, 7.6 for the light stuff, and a 711 heavy for the big stuff.
Right. So is Bobby Jr. going to? Does he have his eyes set on professional fishing?
I think he does. If he fishes like this tonight, he's going to have a long road. But I won the tournament on Monday. I'm super proud of him. He fishes all the Monday night tournaments, all the Thursday night tournaments. He's at a couple local clubs here that he's doing well in. I'm not going to toot his horn. I let him do it down the road for himself. He really talking about fishing. He's very good on Ford Fanar, the whole the coal shad deal. He's really good with him, and I'm just proud of his efforts and he catches big ones. He caught 2 10-pounders last year. He won the Big Bass Award in the Florida Bass Nation. Hundreds and hundreds of kids. He caught the Bass of the Year. It was a 999. Man, some big ones. He weighed 10 last year, so
Man,
I can't just sure goes.
heck yeah. Michael Lendl said, Bobby, have you changed your approach on Okeechobee now that the submerged grass is gone and forward facing in perspective mode is starting to dominate the lake?
Good question. I was in the first the whole science bear and it bad. Make trip down and worse. And I've had to approach not still flip dominates to the everywhere, but you hear a lot of the John and on a big head. So yes, he is right. I haven't my techniques on Okeechobee. I do, but we watched Scott Martin dominate this year at Open down there, 30-pound days. So it has made a big difference, but this time it really focus on and whatnot. If it's some vegetation, I think thankful. So as you're still winning it, on Okeechobee fishing with the lack of vegetation, and you got to adapt, right? I mean, Mother Nature brought the hurricanes in a few years ago, and the lake has seen its ups and downs as well from up to it. I don't know. It. Take
I think we lost him, Norman.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bobby's having some. I think he's having some connection or service problems on his end.
Well, it may be connection within between him connecting with us.
Yeah.
Because he said that he had 4
Can you
bars.
guys hear me?
Now, we kind of lost you towards the end of that. So,
his questions. That was a great question.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. What's up, Mitchell? Another thing is Florida lakes, though, they're kind of like ever changing. Like up here in Chattanooga area and stuff like that, and fishing the TVA, the lakes kind of stay the same. Every year that practically the grass is going to grow in certain areas and stuff like that. But on Okeechobee, it can change from like having the lily pads. It's constantly moving in Florida, the lakes and stuff like that, of like how grass and stuff grow. Am I correct?
You're 100% correct, and it really goes on our hurricanes and our tropical storms, the way the wind blows and what it rips up. Okeechobee being the most, right? I mean, I fish Kissimmee and Harris and Lake Seminole and all these lakes, but Okeechobee seems to be the most detrimental when we get these storms. And the water looked pretty good everywhere. They're starting some different flows out of Lake Okeechobee, but you couldn't be more correct when you hit it on the head. You don't know what the lake is going to look like from one year to the next, which I actually like, and it moves the fish around, and it's not just sitting in the same spot over and over again. And believe it or not, the guys that if you see 50 boats, there's fish there, but the fish are starting to move around a little bit more, so you can find a few places to yourself there now, and that hasn't been the case the past couple of years
Right.
because the grass only grew in about three places, and you went to those places because that's where all the fish were.
Right.
Now you're starting to see the fish scattered out a lot more, and there's no vegetation at all. So, you can move around a little bit more. There's still going to be several big ones caught this year, but I really, really hope we get some vegetation back, and they get that big, beautiful lake back
Yeah.
in the swing of things. So my son can fish it one day too,
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'll tell you what about
the
it.
way that it was when I.
Yeah, when you're practicing for a tournament on like Lake Okeechobee, that's one of the reasons a lot of Florida anglers, including myself, say that Okeechobee is probably one of the hardest lakes to fish and learn and fish a tournament on, especially when you don't fish it on a daily basis. If you just fish it once a year, like when the elites go down or when the Bass Pro Tour goes to Okeechobee, and you're only on it maybe 5 days out of the year, 6 days out of the year. How do you practice for a tournament like Lake Okeechobee when you being a Florida angler know that you could go down, everything looks good when you hit a Florida lake like Okeechobee. You could go down and fish down about 2 miles of shoreline that all looks the same and not have a bite, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 you catch five in a row. So how do you, when you only have like 3 days of practice for an event, how do you set yourself up to practice knowing? Do you just drop the trolling motor and just start fishing, or how do you find yourself trying to figure it out?
Well, for anybody listening, and even you guys, I'll make it real simple for your practice next time you go down there. Wherever you see the most boats, that's where the most fish live. And
That's
Okeechobee
easy.
has fish, and I mean, we watched Scott Martin weigh in 90 pounds this year,
Yeah,
right? And he
Yeah.
fished around everybody. And that's just the way it is. You have to figure them out a little different, but figuring them out isn't catching 2 to 3 pounders. It's learning how to catch the 4 to 6 to 7 to 8, 9 pounders. That's the difference. And, but if you went down there without seeing the boats, it would be where, the main majority of the fish always live, right? North
yeah,
Shore,
Right.
the Shoal, the South End, South Bay, even up around Buckhead, Kings Bar, J&S. You try to not fish fast, but keep yourself in those areas. Early in the year, the south end fires first, and then the north end turns on, and then both turn on, and you just really want. You can't drop a waypoint and saying, "Well, here's all the boats. I'm going to show up and fish here if I don't find anything." That never works. You have to get there. You have to practice it. You have to learn where the little pot of fish is if it's a 40, 50-yard stretch. And when you find it, man, it's lights out. Then it becomes a waiting game sometimes. They might not bite first thing in the morning. They might bite at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the problem is if you leave to go run around somewhere, somebody else rolls in there and says, "God, you left too early," and I've heard that 100 times down there. So you
yeah.
have to be careful with your practice on that place because it is so big. But just keeping it simple, really. Flipping.
Look like he may have froze up. He'll be right back, guys. But yeah, so pretty much all.
He's he's trying to come back.
Yeah, it's trying to come back. So pretty much all he's saying though, guys, is
Your mom let her.
there he is. There he is. Now we got you. It froze up for a second on us, but it's all right.
Yep,
We
yep, yep,
we got you back.
yep.
So just pretty much just keep it easy and just keep a flipping stick in the hand.
Well, that's me, right? Moving baits have become, now that there's lack of vegetation, these fish move around a lot, and moving baits can be key. But yeah, honestly, a flipping stick and a frog. And the reason I say that is because you never know when you're going to hook one of them 8 or 9 pounders. So you want to have a big enough rod and you want to have the right size line on to catch those fish. You're going to catch plenty of fish, but it's really challenging when you hang those big ones to try to get them in on, let's call it 15-pound line, with a light hook and a lightweight. It happens, but
Right.
you want to be prepared for that kind of bite. So
Right.
I
Right.
love my flipping stick and I love my frog rods, man. That seems to be the 1-2 punch down there.
So I kind of want, which we talked about it a little bit beforehand, Bobby, when it was kind of waiting to go live. I heard a story, and which when we had Chris on, we talked about that the lanes have the hardest hook sets in professional fishing by far. And I heard a story from Jake Latundra. And if you don't know, guys, Jake is a camera guy. He's a camera guy now for the elites. And Jake was saying that he was in the back of the boat filming Bobby, and Bobby went to go set up hook set on a biggin, and it came out and it hit him. And old Jake was saying, Bobby, that it felt like he got shot with a gun. And he tried to act tough when he was telling the story, but can we get the lowdown on that?
Yeah, man, guys, that was a Bassmaster Elite Series. It was on Ross Barnett in Mississippi. It was the first time we ever visited that venue. I was in the top 5, and it was, I believe, it was the final day. We had a cold front come through, and I resorted to my flipping stick. I was catching them on a shad spawn before that, but that cold front knocked that out, and I was flipping those big, thick canes or rice or whatever they have there on Ross Barnett. Man, they're big and they're thick, and you needed a 1 ounce to get through them, and he was standing back there doing his job, and I was doing my job, and I got a bite, and it wasn't too long into the day, so I am literally jacked up, right? I am ready to try to win this thing, and I drilled that 1 ounce, and it literally, the fish, I think it could have even have been a gar, grabbed the pinchers. So when I set the hook at 100 miles an hour, there was nothing holding that weight from going 180 miles an hour, and it lodged into his midsection, and cut through his. The reason I know it was Ross Barnett is because we had sweatshirts on, and it actually went through the sweatshirt, went through his t-shirt, and penetrated his rib section, and looked just like a 22. It looked like he got shot by a 22. And of course, man, I mean, I felt horrible. I didn't know what to do. And these guys are tough, man. I hooked a guy in the face one time in a Bass Pro Tour, buried the hook and the weight in the side of his face. I told him we're going to the emergency room, and he said, "Nope, you got a job to do." And back to this first one. These guys are tough. They take their job serious. They that was that was quite the thing. I hate ever hooking somebody. I have been
Yeah.
snatched one time in the ear. One of my co-anglers set the hook and it split my earlobe wide open. But it's no fun when that happens. He talked about that on I want to say Dave Mercer's show
Yeah.
maybe last
That's
year.
where I heard it.
He
Yeah.
handled it very well. He's such a good dude. He's probably one of the best cameramen and that I spent time with when I was with Bass. Man, he was so awesome, and he was spot on. And I hated doing that, but these guys, you want memories when you fish, but I don't think either one of us wanted that memory. But
No.
he talked about it so nice on the podcast last year that I feel like me jokingly laughing a little bit isn't hurting his feelings at all, and it's a
No.
memory
No.
that we'll share together. I'm looking forward to seeing him one day and spending that moment together again and kind of talking it over. But it was no fun. Think about a
Right.
1 ounce weight, a flipping stick. It's cold out, and it just zings as fast as you can possibly set the hook. It flies out of the water and right through his sweatshirt, through his t-shirt, into his rib cage, so to speak. And when he lifted his shirt, he was bleeding. It hit him that hard. So
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
my hat's off to him for being a man. I hate, that ever happening to anybody. But, when you're flipping all the time, those tungsten weights are going to come flying back at you. So
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't ever happen to me. But it was nice to share that moment with him and him being so cool about it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
golly, I can just picture that thing. Still, it gives me the chills just picturing him with that thing in
Yeah.
his hurting
yeah.
him, man.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
got to. We
I was
we
got, I
talked
was got,
to him at the classic this past year, and I brought it up to him, and I told him that we was going to have you on the. We're planning on having you on the podcast, and I told him that I was going to ask you about it, and he says, "Oh yeah," he said he knew from right away that he's like Bobby. He felt bad about it, and he just said that he just he said that y'all doctored it up a little bit as best as y'all could, and he said we just went on, and he said, but for me to get that shot that I want to get that you see, he said you're always in the striking zone, so that's a risk that we got to take, and he said so. He said there was no hard feelings about it, and he said, yeah, make sure you ask Bobby about it. But
Oh man, I do. I hate that for anybody, but
yeah,
it's. You're right. They that's what I was saying. These guys cherish their job so much. Even my official on the Bass Pro Tour, man, I'm telling you, I buried a weight and a hook in the side of his face, and I knew I was going to the emergency room. And he said, I want you to get it out and let me know how it looks. And it was not a fun thing to do. It wasn't a
yeah.
fun thing to do at all, but
no,
all in all, what an awesome deal. That's what I mean. Those guys do what they can to get the shot. Actually, my next flip, after I put that hook in that guy's face, I caught an 8.5 pounder and it was on the bed. So,
right,
that's they want the best for you. They're
Yeah.
not in
yeah,
this for them, man. They
no,
want to get the shot and they want
Oh,
you to do
yeah.
good. And that means a lot, man. I mean, that's total dedication.
yeah,
Yeah. Growing up in Florida, being a Floridian for 49 years of my life, anytime I'd have somebody hop on the boat with me, that's the first thing I told them if I was fishing a flipping lake like Lake Estapoga, which was my home lake for flipping, and down in Lake Okeechobee. First thing I'd tell them is, now you better be keeping your head on a swivel because them weights come back pretty fast if you swing and miss.
yeah. So,
Dude, it's no joke. It really is. It's no joke. Now, with all the vegetation gone, we're flipping 3/4 and 1 ounces down there on Lake Okeechobee. So the speed is even faster because they launch out of the water going that much faster. So you got to be
right,
even
right.
more careful.
So, what is your favorite lake that you've been able to fish outside of Florida?
Guys, that's a wonderful. I mean, I get asked that a lot, right? And if it was in Florida, of course, it would be a hard toss up between the Kissimmee chain of lakes and Lake Okeechobee. But I cut my teeth on Lake Kissimmee, so it gets to that one. But the one outside of Florida that is my favorite place to be, and believe it or not, I haven't really ever killed them there. But it's the St. Lawrence River. I truly, truly enjoy everything about the St. Lawrence River. Me and my son try to take a trip for smallmouth every year while I got a tournament up that way. And the time we get to spend together, the largemouth, the smallmouth, the walleye, the no traffic lights, the weather is just absolutely unbelievable. It's crystal clear. You put a flatworm on and you catch anything you want in that river. It's just unbelievable. And watching my son fight those 4, 5, 6 pounders on a spinning rod with that light braid, and when he jumps and the excitement you get from that, and you can see it fighting 20, 30 foot down, man, the St. Lawrence does it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Brenton asked, what species of fish have you not caught but want to?
I have not what?
That you, what species of fish have you not caught but want to?
I think I really, really want to catch one of those barramundi. We have some down here on the south end. There's two of them actually. I want to catch a barramundi on topwater, and I want it to be a good one, and I want to get a peacock bass.
Yeah. So I got a cousin that he just went to Brazil, which we go every year down to the Everglades and catch those. But he went to Brazil to go catch the 20 plus peacocks, and he said that's a different show in itself. Going down in Brazil, going down the rivers there, and he says you never slow down. He says all the current's pushing you, and then you're throwing some kind of top water and just bringing it right back as fast as you can go, and they're nailing it. So
That's that sounds pretty cool. I haven't even caught one down here in Florida, so I think I'm gonna start with that one first. And then I got a friend that's actually got a barramundi pond somewhere that he takes some trips on, and I wanna look into that. I really do. They
yeah,
look like a snook and a bass mixed, and they love topwater, so I want to try it.
yeah,
Yeah. I have people ask me all the time. Of course, lived in Florida 49 years of my life, and we relocated up here to Tennessee about 5 years ago, me and the wife. And but I have people ask me because I've been down in the Everglades now. Myself and Colin's been there the last 3 years, but I've been there personally the last 5 years. But after I relocated to Tennessee, and I have people ask me all the time, "You mean you live in Florida for 49 years and you never once went down to the Everglades, and now you're up in Tennessee and you go every year? What's up with that?" But yeah, we enjoy going down there to the Everglades, and they don't get quite as big down there as they do up in the Amazon. And the
nah,
pictures you see in the Amazon, not near, but you have one of those 3 pound peacocks down in the Everglades, busted top water, zero spook. Sounds like you're dropping a center block in on it.
yeah,
Yep, I spent a lot of time in the Everglades, believe it or not, and a lot of top water for big snook, and definitely a lot of giant redfish. We caught a lot of hammerheads and black tips and lemon sharks. I caught my first sawzall shark there. It was about a 9 footer. They're on the endangered list now, but we caught gag grouper. Me and my dad had a phenomenal tarpon trip there, all on just regular bass rods and reels, which is
Wow.
fun to me. I
yeah,
spent
Oh
some
yeah.
time in Poneglyph catching giant snook. I don't really want to overpower. I want to catch them on stuff that they're not used to being caught on. I want that challenge and that fight to go as long as I possibly can. But
yeah,
you guys got some cool. When you're in Florida, man, there's a bunch of places to go. But I'm going to tell you right now, September is absolutely steaming down here. So I recommend making your trip either early spring or early summer, or
Yeah.
in the fall, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be down here right now. Trying to enjoy it. The fishing's a little tough, and it's just really, really, heat indexes have been, 108, 112, 120. And it's not that the weather's miserable, it's just that it's so humid. It's
humid,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
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 Now, Michael Lendl said, I don't know if you know Michael, but he said, Bobby, anytime you're in South Florida area and you want a peacock
Oh,
trip,
hang on,
holler
we
at him.
got one. Look here on the flip. Oh, it come on. Oh, he chased it up again, son. Flip it in there. Oh, he just he was putting a figure eight on one.
That's awesome.
So,
We had to get
but
Bobby back here in a minute. He's trying to come
yeah,
back on. But yeah, Colin, that's pretty sweet. And I talk about that all the time. Growing up, living in Florida, 49 years of my life, and never, I've been fishing. I've been tournament fishing for 30 of those years, and never once went down to the Everglades. And I knew the peacock were down there, just never done it. And it takes me moving up to Tennessee. Now I've
that's
been up here in
crazy, isn't it?
Tennessee now for 5 years, and I've been in the Everglades the last 5 years, and me and you's been together down there 3 times.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then to hear Bobby say that, Florida boy, never have gone
yeah,
chasing peacocks.
and what's crazy is he's, I mean, he's 2 hours away from it, and so
Yeah.
he drives way more than 2 hours just to to go to a tournament, but he's 2 hours
Yeah.
away from some peacocks. Well, I mean, he may
Yeah.
be even closer than that, but he's at least about 2 hours away. I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just it's crazy though. I mean, I know next year, me and you were talking about it, and I mean, we're already stoked about going back down there for next year.
Yeah,
And
we're definitely gonna go do the peacock thing together next year. Kind of a little bit of our plans got screwed up this year when down there, but I you didn't get a chance to make it because your work schedule
yeah,
this year to ICAST, but I went down there and still gave it a try, and I didn't do that well. I went down there just on a whim, without
yeah,
really doing any studying or anything, and didn't do that good down there. Kind of a little bit disappointed to make that trip down there for basically for naught, but it's still fun to get down there. And you
yeah,
just always like to catch them, but it was so good to get down there and just fish. But
yeah. But we
next
still
next
got
next year things will be different. We'll go
yeah,
down there and we'll be on it next year.
yeah, and but I still got a goal to. I want to get a Florida 10, and
Well,
so
we'll try our best. I've been saying that for 3 years to you. I'll try my best to get us on a couple of tens, and we haven't been able to put us on tens when you and me have been down there together. But
no,
maybe next year it'll happen.
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll
the
we'll be able
biggest
to make it happen
that
next year.
I've caught down there. I had, but I will say this. I mean, I did have what we think probably was a double digit bass that first time we went out. In
Yeah,
Florida.
actually, your first hook set when we went
Yeah,
on Lake June, I believe it was.
yeah,
And
and
you
so
set up, and I told you, I said, I've set up on many, 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 many double digits, caught many, many double digits over again. And I told you that fish, the way she was drawing you down, was close, if not over.
yeah,
When you pulled back on her, and she just kind of came unbuttoned. But yeah,
yeah.
that was a big one.
Brenton says, "What time of the year do you make that trip?" We make that trip, Brenton. Uh, it's usually like the third week of July. Oh, we got Bobby coming back on. So it's
Yeah,
usually about the third week of July when we make that trip to go to. We'll hit we'll hit ICAST, and then we'll make that trip after ICAST.
yeah.
So, um, so Bobby, what are your goals that you have? I mean, because you have accomplished so much in professional fishing. What are your goals that you have your eyes set on for here, like the upcoming years, or even the next couple of years that you have coming up?
I really haven't set any goals for next year yet. I mean, every year you want to try to qualify for the Red Crest, the heavy hitters, and both the team events. And I was fortunate enough to do that this year. We started out a little slow, but we finished strong. I really would like to win a Bass Pro Tour, just to have that on my mantle, and watch my son grow up, man. I mean, and let him win in a big tournament. I run a scholarship event every year in December. I started that 12 years ago, and we have separate goals for that. I gave away, almost $65,000. Not I, but we did. The Bobby Lane Cup, and my goal now is to get to 100 grand. I want to give out 100 grand in scholarships to these kids, and fishing college fishing has gotten bigger and better than ever, and the need for them to have money and put these kids into a college fishing team is kind of my goal now. So raise these kids right, and try to make every cast the best.
Yeah, we lost Colin there for a minute. He's just calling in, probably telling me something's going on. But I actually got Colin on the phone now. But we'll see if Colin won't come back on in a few minutes. But Colin could probably hear me talking on the phone. But yeah, we're still up live, Colin. But we lost you. But anyway, hey Bobby, you mentioned the Bobby Lane Classic for a second. Um, Talk about that a little bit. I know that's a big event you put on every year on Kissimmee, and kid you get for the junior bass anglers and the high school anglers, and it's all for charity, of course. Talk about that a little bit, about that event.
Yeah, man. We started. It's the Bobby Lane Cup, and we started that 12 years ago. And Yamaha was the very first sponsor. We gave away wristbands and hats. The first year we had 18 kids, and last year we had 400 kids. And We gave away $65,000 in scholarships. It's a 501c3. I mean, none of us take a penny from the thing, ever have and ever will. We try to do what we can to keep these kids moving forward in bass fishing. I mean, that's what it takes. And um, we do. We have a lot of juniors and we have a lot of high school, and we start the scholarship when the kids are a junior, so they can get one when they're a senior also. And
Right.
it's been a huge success. We got it. The community gets behind it, and everybody just loves coming down. We got Starbright's one of our big sponsors for that event. They come down and do a lot of cooking, and just lot of their guys come and help and support that thing too. It's
Yeah.
one of my sponsors also. But man, it's just something that when I grew up, me, my brother Chris, and Arnie, we all, and my sister Kelly, we'd go to a place called Tom Mann's Fish World, and that was in Eufaula, Alabama. And there was a creek, a little lake that he used to let all us kids fish. Bill Dance used to come down. And when we'd leave there, it was the time of our life. We had a BB gun shooting contest, a casting contest, and a fishing contest. And I'm telling you now, between me, Arnie, and Chris, there wasn't too many more prizes to get. But we enjoyed that event. We left with a lot of cool things, and I don't think that was ever my goal in life, was to start something up like that, until I got
Right.
older and realized that I want my kids and other kids to have the same opportunity I did. So
Yeah.
we get all the sponsors involved in the industry. It's not just my sponsors. They send baits down for these kids, and they all leave with a great big goodie bag that and a lot of the kids that fish are it's not a points or anything like that. So a lot of them, it might be their very first tournament and their only tournament they're ever fish, and we just welcome everyone and come be a part of that thing, man. We just love doing it. It's the first weekend in December
Yeah.
every year. So December 7th this year, we will be hosting it again out of Camp Mac, Guy Harvey River Resort there in Lake Wales, Florida.
Oh man, that's insane. Bobby, I just had Colin text in. He lost power, so I think we went off live about 5 minutes ago, not realizing.
Oh boy.
So yeah, Collins, hang on. I got him on the phone right now. Hang on, let's see what's going on. Hey, Colin, you there? All right. Yeah, you lost internet, so we're actually down from live right now.
Yeah, it's saying that it's not showing. It's not showing it live on the
All right,
like that
because
platform.
is it still recording? Because it's showing it's still recording on my end. Your picture's just not there.
Yeah, it's showing that it's still recording.
All right. All right. Yeah, but Colin's saying he just lost power, Bobby. So I guess we can't. We're not on live anymore. I guess he had his power
Well,
go
tell you
out.
what, man, it's almost been an hour. It's
Yeah.
been a little bit spotty. If you guys want to try to get me on for some other questions, let's do that. But thanks for having me, and stay in touch, dude, and just let me know what we can do to fill in some of the loose ends if we need to.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch, Bobby. And man, I apologize about tonight, but hey, that's the trials and tribulations of doing a live podcast. You never know, the weather is the one thing that kind of dampers it sometimes. And we haven't, luckily on our end, we haven't had it. I mean, just a couple times we've had weather be an issue. So, and we've been doing it for almost 2 years now. So, but we appreciate. What we'll do is I'll be back in touch with you, and we'll try to get you back on to do a show right next time. And again, Bobby, thanks for your time, and we apologize for the weather technical difficulties we had tonight, man.
No problem, guys. I hope you got something out of it. Stay in touch, and
Yes,
I'll
sir.
talk to you soon.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you so much. Talk soon, buddy.
See you guys.
All right, bye now. Yeah, Colin, I just told Bobby, we're going to stay in touch, and we'll try to get him back on sometime down the road to see if we can't do a show, where we don't have the weather being an issue.
Well, it was almost 50 minutes long, so.
Yeah, we're good. And what I that last little bit, after you went off, he was talking to because I asked him to talk a little. I didn't know weren't live. I seen you go down, but I was assuming we're still live because it showed we're still recording on my end. So I just kept it going, and
Yeah, my
and
dad said it was still showing it. So
we should have kept going then.
yeah, but that's why I was trying to tell you when I said hold on, my dad was beeping in and.
Because it's showing still recording on my end. That's why I just put on. I texted you back, keep recording, so we just roll with it. But man, I should have just kept going.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So, well, all right, man. Let me get off here because it's not letting me end the live. I got to close the page out.
All right. See you.
See you guys.
All right, guys. I don't know if we're still live or not. We having some weather technical difficulties tonight. We had some major storms rolling through, and we lost Colin. We kind of ended the show with those technical difficulties. So before Colin ends it, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And again, we are alive. We are a live podcast, so that's one of the things that we have to deal with when we do live. Is weather is one of the things that might damper it. And we've been doing this thing 2 years, and we've only had a couple times now where weather's been an issue. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in, and remember, we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of the Deck Top Podcast. Next week, we'll have Trey McKinney, Rookie of the Year this year on the Elite Series, is going to be our guest next week. So, guys, again, I appreciate it. Sorry about the technical weather difficulties today, and we will see everybody next week. You there, Colin?
Yeah, let's see.
It says still recording on my end, so but I just closed this show.